Hello, welcome to Digital Works, and today's class we will see a good information about cascading style sheets, right? CSS. The CSS stands for cascading style sheets, which is used to make some good styles in my HTML web pages. In earlier lesson 12s, that means past 12 lessons, what we have seen how to design a HTML page, but we does not use how to give a good style. That means how to add some good colors. That means add to good some styles in my web page where it does not apply, right? So in this class onwards, we will apply a good variety of styles on in my HTML pages, right? So to apply various kinds of styles, I need to know the basic language. That particular basic language is cascading style sheets. Okay, and how many types are there? First question, and how I can apply. Today's session we will see these two areas. First one is how many types, and second one is how can I apply. Right. So straight away we'll go for the types of CSS. There are three types of CSS that I can use in my HTML page, and first one is inline CSS, inline cascading style sheet, right? So already we have used this inline cascading style sheets in my HTML page. I think you people all remember about the style attribute, right? Using a style attribute, I can apply my inline style sheets, right? So as you people are very much aware about using a style attribute, we also implemented some headings like h1 tag. In that h1 tag I have used the style attribute with a style attribute by using some background color, right? So we will see what type of inline CSS can be done on my HTML page, right? So inline styling is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. You need to remember what is the main use of this inline means. We all know that CSS is used for styling of my web page, but by using the inline type of CSS, I can use the CSS features for each and every single HTML element. That means if I want to apply any styles for my table or any heading or any kind of para, then straight away I can go and apply the inline styling, right? So and straight away we will see how this particular inline can be developed by using a HTML code, right? So here I have already developed, I have simply written some code regarding the HTML, right? So you people please observe here carefully. So here I already used one heading tag, that is welcome to inline styling, right? So we will check without CSS, without inline styling, how it will appear, right? So we will check the outputs. So inline styling, yes, it is loading in my browser. Yes, you can see welcome to inline styling, welcome to inline styling. You can clearly observe that there are no kinds of any kind of colors or any kind of font styles, nothing. It is a simple heading, right? So now I will add some style. Now I will add some style as like this. So as we know, inline CSS need to be applied in a web page by using the style attribute. Style attribute is equal to, I have used background color as a blue, right? So we will see what are the changes. We will see the changes. I refresh, you get it, right? So what happened? It is simply displays the color. So and you people need to remember here I have used the standard color type. We all know that there are three types of colors. First one is RGB color and hexadecimal color, right? So we'll see whether here RGB is applying or not, right? So very simple. So we all know that RGB colors has some parameters which can be started from minimum 0 to and maximum 255, right? So I simply use that particular thing and I try to check whether it is applying or not. I simply refresh. Yes, it is applying, right? So like that I can use the styling concept by using inline styling concept by using the style attribute, and I can define the background color for my heading tag. In the same way, you can also define some paragraph also. You can also define some paragraph, or you can also define any kind of HTML element. I can simply straight away use that particular HTML element, and after that, by using the style attribute, I can use the inline CSS. I think you got it right. So very good. So, and we straight away go to the second type. Second type is internal. Second type is internal, and third type is external. We will see one by one, right? So here second type is internal. Internal cascading style sheets can be used a tag called style element. So in earlier inline, I use the style as a attribute, but now in internal, I use style as a element in the HTML web page at the header section. We need to remember one good important point is, if I want to use internal cascading style sheets, I need to write the code at the header part, right? So up to now we simply use the header part for only the writing the title of the pages. From now onwards we can use the header part for defining some styles for my web page, right? So we straight away go and see what is the code for it, right? The internal cascading style sheets. So very good. So as usual, root HTML element, and here I use the header section. Observe carefully, in that header section I use the style tag. Start using the style tag, and here observe carefully what I did. I mentioned the body, I mentioned the h1, I mentioned the p. So we all know p is a paragraph, h1 is the heading, and body is the body of the page. So here what I did, I simply mentioned where the property need to be applied. The property is background color is cyan, and it need to apply at the body. In the same way, heading color red, in the same way paragraph color green. That means whatever the things I have written inside the body tag, inside the body, those all elements need to be applied these properties. You got it? So very simple. Here what I did, I simply use the body as a cyan color, and I use the heading also. In that heading I use the h1, and here I use a paragraph. That paragraph need to be applied the green, right? So let us go and check whether it is applying or not, right? So internal cascading style sheets, yes, it is applying. You got it? So very simple concept. Here it is what I did. So that internal cascading style sheets, the background color is I given at cyan, it simply applied cyan, and I given the heading as a red color, it is applied, and I given the paragraph as a green color, it is applying, right? So let us change here whether it is reflecting or not. I simply given the background color as red, and I use the heading color as cyan, and I simply save it, and I check whether it is applying or not. Yes, it is applying, right? I think you will get a clear idea what I did. Very simple thing. I started the style attribute, style element inside the header tag, and there I define the properties, right? For this particular property, this particular style property need to apply for this particular elements, right? The body element, h1 element, and paragraph element, right? This is a simple way of using the internal cascading style sheets, right? And straight away we'll go for the last and final one, that is external cascading style sheets, right? This is the most important feature in the that is the most important part in the cascading style sheets, that is external. The name itself telling external, that means whatever the properties I need to define for my web page, it can be defined at the external of the HTML page. That is nothing but I need to save all the properties by using a cascading style sheet like that .css file. That means whatever the properties I have defined, that particular properties will be stored in a style sheet with a name, with an extension as .css. As we save the HTML page by the extension as .html, in the same way by using .css, I can save those particular code as a cascading style sheets files, right? So after defining cascading style sheet, I need to use the style sheet at the header section itself, right? So you will get a clear idea if you observe the coding part, right? So we'll go directly to the coding part. We observe carefully what I did. As usual, HTML, and in the header section, observe carefully. Here I did not define any kind of properties. Here what I did, I simply link my cascading style sheet by referring as link rel is equal to style sheet, href is equal to style.css. href we already used in the hyperlink definition. As we need to define the hyperlink, I need to use the href. It simply tells the absolute or relative part of the location. Here I use the relative part. That means that particular file is stored in my directory, right? In my current folder, right? So, but where is the code? So we need to see that particular code is stored in the style.css. Style.css. You will get here what I did. It is the external css.html page. In that HTML page, I use the style.css page. That particular style.css page is defined in this manner. It is defined in this manner, right? So what I define? I simply define as body need to be reflected as background color, and h1 need to be reflected as a red color, and p need to be reflected as a green color, right? Then this by default to define the CSS file, there is no need of any kind of root tag or any kind of closing tags, nothing. We straight away go and tell the element name, and after that property, element name and property, right? Very simple. After that we simply use the link, and after that I need to use the href, and we will see straight away what will be the output, right? So I once again save and I check the external.css. Yes, this is my very simple code, right? So to change any kind of colors, I does not need to go and change here in the external css.html. I does not want to change anything in the HTML page. Reason is there is no definition for the styling inside my HTML page. It is defined inside a .css page. So if I change here as background as blue and save it, and once I refresh, it's simply applicable on my HTML page. So if you observe carefully, as from the inline, internal and external, which particular thing is most useful means it is nothing but external cascading style sheets. The reason is in external cascading style sheet, suppose if I want to change the styles of web pages for 10 web pages by using inline or internal, I need to go and change each and every page. But for the external, I does not need to change. I need to change in the .css file. If I change once in the .css file, that will applicable for all the 10 pages at a time. That's why in the real time we use the external.css. Okay, I think everyone clearly understood what we have discussed today. We have discussed very simple concept, that is cascading style sheets. It adds some colors to our web pages, and how it will apply the colors to my web pages means by using the three types. First one is inline. In inline, I simply use the style attribute, and next one internal. In that internal, I use the style element inside the header section, and finally I use the external cascading styles. I simply define the cascading style sheets file in definition in a separate .css file, and after that I simply include the .css file in my HTML web page. I think everyone will get a clear idea about the cascading style sheets, right? Thanks for watching. Bye bye.